The LG V20. It's like the Samsung Note 7, but it doesn't explode. Let me tell you about it. Oh, hey, Dave Taylor here again. Take these off. For once, I'm actually not reviewing headphones, though these are lovely Beyerdynamic headphones. I'm actually looking at this. This is the LG V20. This is their new flagship. I always think of like Austin Powers, flagship smartphone. And it has a lot of really cool features. One of the best of which is that it has a built-in DAC. And a DAC is this circuitry that basically takes your music and gives it more dynamic range and just makes it sound better. And I will say that just listening to Google Play Music with these headphones off the phone, boy, it sounds really good. And you get a lot of volume and a lot of just sort of spatial sense to the music. Very, very nice. But the V20 has lots of other cool features too. And let's start with the screen, because this is basically the same screen, the same dimensions. There's a lot of features that overlap the now recalled Samsung Note 7, which I hope you don't still have one, because seriously, it's kind of dangerous. Who would think a smartphone would be dangerous? But this has a, let's see, 5.7-inch QHD display. It's actually running it better than 1080p. It actually is running at 1440 by 2560, which gives it 513 dots per inch, which means that everything on this thing just looks gorgeous. I mean, it's just a really nice display. It also is running off of Snapdragon, the 820 processor, which is 2.15 gigahertz quad core. Keep that in mind. 4 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gig of storage, and it has a micro SD card slot. Yay, thank you. I wish my iPhone had that. And that gives you up to 2 terabytes of storage. Who the heck needs 2 terabytes of storage on your smartphone? But hey, I don't judge you. If you need it, you can do that with this phone. It's running Android 7.0, which is also known as Nougat. I'm not sure why the people at Google are so obsessed with candy when it comes to Android, but it's okay. They haven't yet nailed the favorite candy I have, but maybe someday. What else can I tell you? Let's see. So this has 3,200 milliamp hour battery, and let me show you something that's going to freak out all of you people that are used to other companies. We won't name them, but you ready? I can take the back off because it's a removable battery. Oh my gosh, what a great thing, which means you could actually have 2 or 3 batteries. And you could be charging one while you're using the other one. Or you can actually pre-charge both of them, and then when you get to like a big trade show or a day-long workshop, you are good to go, and you don't have any issues, because when your battery gets super low, all you have to do is switch it with the other one. I really like that. This battery gives you about 8 hours of talk time. And what people are finding is that the battery might be one of the weak spots on this from other reviews I've seen and read. And people find that right around early evening it starts to run out of juice. So that's something to keep in mind. But it does come with what LG calls their Quick Charge 3.0, which is just a higher amperage charger, which means that this baby can charge over 50% in 30 minutes and just over an hour for a full charge from 0 to 100%, and that's really nice. Now, worth mentioning is that it is a USB-C connector. So if you're used to having your little micro USB and having to deal with the stupid orientation stuff, who thinks of oriented cables? It's just a bad idea. You will love USB-C. However, you will need to get new chargers. You will need a new car charger. You might need a new extra charger at work if you are using a docking system of any sort. This now won't work, right? Because it's USB-C. However, USB-C is the future, so I would encourage you to just sort of jump in and just go for it and pick up a couple extra cables. It's not really a nightmare. Now, from a usability perspective, one of the things that I found most weird about the V20 is that there's no on-off button on the edges. There's no button on the front like on an iPhone. The actual power button is on the back. And I think the idea is that, you know, as you pick it up, you just go ahead and put your finger on it and boom, your phone's turned on and everything's all hunky-dory, and it actually has a fingerprint scanner on that. But I will tell you, not to sound like I'm not an expert, but it took me a while to figure out that that was actually a button. I just looked at it and just thought that, as you might, it's just part of the camera and lens setup. But this is actually the home button. So even as you're using your phone, you might find that you're using that particular button. So an interesting design choice on LG's part. So let's see. Speaking of cameras, the back is a 16 megapixel camera and the front is an 8 megapixel, but it's working in wide angle. And I don't have any super glamorous photos to show you, but here's one that you can see. And it does a really nice job with photography, and there's actually a lot of manual settings, and what I've read online from other users is that if you really want to get into working with all the manual settings, you can get some phenomenal photos out of this V20. So that's worth knowing. They also have what's called a steady record system. So supposedly, if you're recording a video and you're not very stable or smooth, or you're on a boat or something, the system itself is supposed to try to smooth things over a little bit. So really pretty cool idea. Again, I haven't really tested it that extensively, but you can go on YouTube and search and probably find a couple of sample videos. And let's see, the audio recording is another interesting one because you can't see it when you look closely, but there are actually 3 microphones. And what this does is it gives you a better quality audio recording. So what LG says is this is studio quality audio recording. And I guess that's true if your studio represents a smartphone on a table. But still, I use my smartphone to record audio when I'm at lectures, for example, so having better quality is definitely a huge benefit. And let's see, there's the other interesting thing is that on the very top here, and I'll give you a close-up, they have what they call the second screen. I see this and I think it's kind of like the new MacBook Pro's Touch Bar. The idea is that they have just a little like 160 pixels on the very top that they've dedicated to showing stuff other than what you're actually doing at that moment. So in this case, I can see the icons from recent apps that I've used. When I was using Dropbox, for example, it was showing me the status as I was uploading photos. So it's an interesting idea. And it certainly is a nice use of the real estate because they can't use all the way across because they have the camera lens. So that's why it's not just part of the regular display. But it's kind of cool because they're just utilizing a space that otherwise on most smartphones would just be dead space. So I like that. In terms of dimensions, 6.3 inches, 3.1 inches, 1/3 of an inch. And it weighs, it's maybe a little heavy for a smartphone, but certainly no big deal. It's big enough that it's not going to fit in most of your pockets, and you do not want this in your back pocket because snap, bad. You know that. That would not be a good thing. So this is Titan Gray. It also comes in silver. And price-wise, because that's really all we haven't talked about at this point, price-wise, it's $799 unlocked at Amazon.com, or if you want to just get it through someone like AT&T Wireless, it's $829. So it is a computer that happens to be really small. So, you know, it's expensive. Now, I do want to point out that AT&T also has their pay-as-you-go sort of thing. That's not the right name for it, but you can basically take the cost of your phone and divide it into monthly payments, in which case you can have one of these beautiful LG V20s for a mere $27 per month. So that runs for some number of years, and somewhere along the way you can have the option of doing an upgrade, but I have to say, this is a pretty slick phone. I really have to say that the LG has done a really nice job. The glass is edge to edge. It's metal. I really like the replaceable battery, though it took me a while to figure out how to open the back. The camera does a great job. The audio is really notable, and it's Android 7, so it's pretty darn easy to use. So I would say, all in all, I'm going to give this a thumbs up. It's a pretty nice phone. Now, you can learn more about it at LG.com, or you can go to somewhere like AT&T Wireless and you can learn more about it there. So, this is Dave Taylor, and I think I'm going to get back to my Google Play. So, I will catch you in my next video. But wait, whoa! You're not allowed to leave yet. Do not press that pause button because I'm hoping you will actually spend a couple of seconds and click on the subscribe button. You done that? I sure appreciate it, and that'll help you keep up on all the stuff I'm doing. So now, finally, this is Dave Taylor, and I'll catch you in my next video.